Call me Ishmael.
My name is Peter Gansevoort Whittemore, and I'm Herman Melville's great-great-grandson. I'm here at the Melville Room in the New Bedford Whaling Museum. It's going to be a Melville Room dedicated to exhibits relating to Moby Dick and Herman Melville.
Well, Melville spent 4 years at sea, and during that time he served on 3 different whale ships, including the Cushnet that sailed out of New Bedford on January 3rd, 1841, and then he sailed on the Lucian, which was a small Australian whale ship, and then his last vessel, the Charles and Henry, was a Nantucket whale ship. And in that time he started out as a green hand and eventually worked his way up to boat steerer, which is the man who throws the harpoon. So he would have spent a lot of time in a whaleboat like this. And you can see it's quite complicated. The whaleboats had to be light and fast, but they also had to be able to stand the pressure of throwing a harpoon into the whale. So the harpoon didn't actually kill the whale, it just served to attach the whaleboat to the whale.
In Melville's Moby Dick, there's a chapter called The Line, and it's a meditation on the lines in whaleboats that would have been attached to the harpoon thrown at the whale. And the first time I read the book, I was always struck by the extended discussion of the line and the fact that a sailor would spend the entire morning coiling the line very carefully in the tub. And the point is to convey the power and strength and speed of the whale, because as Ishmael tells us, if there's just a slight kink in the line, once it runs out at such great speed, when the harpoon is stuck in the whale, even the slightest kink could take off a finger or a limb. And I was always struck by the way in which Melville conveys the power of the whale indirectly, not by describing the whale, but by describing this other object in the whaleboat.
I wish Melville could be here with us to tell us his responses. He apparently never saw a blue whale. He includes that among the half-fabulous whales that he hasn't seen with his own eyes in the cetology chapter. And he was amazed by the size of a sperm whale, and the blue is so much larger. And this is apparently a juvenile blue whale. It's not even full length yet. But two things about this skeleton that come to mind thinking of Melville. One is this great moment in Moby Dick where he has the head of a sperm whale in front of him, and he says, I but put that brow before you. Read it if you can. It's the mystery of the whale and this gigantic creature coming from somewhere else in our lives who holds some kind of mystery and key to us. So just looking at the skeletal head of this blue whale for me brings up that kind of magic. And then looking at the end of the whale, way down there, the end of the skeleton, Melville makes it very clear in the chapter on the skeleton of the sperm whale that this skeleton is only a part of the creature because the flukes go way beyond the final bones. So the flukes would be spreading out from that tailbone, probably going down through the floor and out on both sides. So he was writing at a time when experts on whales most of them had never seen a living creature. They'd only studied bones. So the bones themselves are fantastic, but they're nothing compared to the fully invested whale with its flesh and organs and all of that.
I wanted to take this occasion to say a little bit about the meaning of the whale and the whale skeleton for Ishmael in Moby Dick, which he talks about extensively in a chapter called In the Bower of the Arsacides, in which occurs after he has escaped from the destruction of the Pequod, and it's a later experience for him, and he has found his way on the island of Tanko, and he learns of a whale skeleton. But Ishmael is in a rather tranquil period of his life at this point, but he's never been inside a whale, and I think this is a transformative experience for him.
We're here in the International Gallery at the Whaling Museum, where we get a sense of how the whales themselves are the first real transnational beings in the world, in that their circuits are not confined by the maps that humans draw on the earth. When humans began to follow whales, they engaged with what was a truly worldly system of capitalist, really, exploitation. Unlike the tobacco industry, where tobacco was made in the in America and then sent around the world, whales, humans had to hunt out where they were, and where they were on all grounds of the world.
I'm excited about what the museum tells us about record keeping. Melville wrote Moby Dick after reading tons of what we think of as classical literature, books by Shakespeare and scientists and philosophers and what we think of as the Western tradition. But he was writing about whalers, and whalers had their own ways of writing about their experience. Common for the whaling men themselves are these logs and journals. Now, I keep a journal, but I don't illustrate mine with meticulous watercolor paintings and drawings that really recover the landscapes and seascapes that they were seeing. Here is a journal or commonplace book. A commonplace book is a collection of observations again, but this is all of images of whales and the different kinds of whales they saw. So in a sense, it's an informal taxonomy or a natural history of the object of their quest, and Melville does that in Moby Dick. He creates a kind of natural history of the whale, but he could have been as much inspired by these visual materials as he was by books.